Welcome back to the channel, where we simplify cybersecurity. I'm Greg Flatt from Flat Earth Networking. And in each video, we break down complex cybersecurity topics into clear, actionable insights, helping you protect your organization effectively and affordably. If you find our content helpful, please consider subscribing to stay updated on future cybersecurity tips. Okay, imagine waking up in the morning, checking your phone, and noticing a bunch of alerts, logins you didn't make, accounts you don't recognize, and charges you didn't approve. That sinking feeling in your stomach? That's what it feels like when your digital identity gets compromised. Our entire lives, from banking accounts to classwork to medical records, are stored online. Protecting that identity has never been more important. We live in a time where convenience rules. Logging into your email, streaming service, or cloud storage with just a single password has made things easy. But it also has made everything vulnerable. A single weak password, like your pet's name or your favorite band followed by 123, can be all it takes for someone to steal your data. And it's not just individuals who suffer. Entire companies, hospitals, schools, and even governments have fallen victim to cyber attacks where bad actors gained access because of a single stolen or guessed password. This is where Multifactor Authentication, or MFA, steps in. At its core, MFA's job is to add extra layers of authentication, making it significantly harder for someone to break into an account, even if they have your password. It's the difference between just locking your front door and locking your door, having a security system, a camera, and a guard dog. If one layer fails, the others are still active. Before we jump into the details, let's think about how we prove who we are in the physical world. If you walk into a bank and want to withdraw money, you'll be asked to show an ID. That ID is something you have. But maybe the teller also asks you to confirm your address or give them your account number, something you know. In some high security cases, you might even be asked to provide a fingerprint or scan your retina, something you are. These are real-life forms of identity verification. And in the digital world, multi-factor authentication is built on the exact same concept. Cybersecurity experts have been warning for years that passwords alone are not enough. With millions of passwords leaked online from data breaches and sophisticated tools available to crack them in seconds, relying on one piece of information to protect your entire digital identity is risky at best and reckless at worst. MFA is one of the most effective, widely available defenses we have today. It's used by banks, universities, social media platforms, and even online games. If you have ever received a text with a code when logging in or used your phone to approve a sign-in, you're already experiencing MFA in action. In this video, we're going to explore multi-factor authentication in detail. We'll break down how it works, the different types of authentication methods, and why it has become a critical part of our lives. Then we'll look ahead at what's coming next, because like all things, authentication is evolving. Whether you're a student, a gamer, a social media user, or someone who shops online, you are part of the digital ecosystem, and that means your identity is at risk. But with the right knowledge, you can take simple, powerful steps to protect yourself. And the good news is MFA is already built into most of the tools you use every day. You just need to know how to use them effectively. So let's look at multi-factor authentication, how it works, why it matters, and how it can keep you and your data safe in a world where threats are everywhere. At its core, multi-factor authentication is a simple idea. No one single piece of information should be enough to prove your identity. It's a principle rooted in common sense. If someone has your password, that alone shouldn't give them total access to your data. MFA introduces layers, separate forms of proof that together create a much stronger defense. To understand how MFA works, let's break down the three types of factors that it uses. The first factor is something you know. This is the most familiar one. It could be a password, a PIN, or an answer to a secret question. The idea is that you are the only one who is supposed to know this information. But over time, this type of knowledge-based security has shown its flaws. People reuse passwords, choose weak ones, or even fall for phishing scams that trick them into handing over their credentials. It's like using a lock on your door that everyone in your neighborhood has a key to. That's why this layer, while important, is no longer seen as enough on its own. The second factor is something you have. This refers to a physical object that only you are supposed to possess, like a smartphone. When you get a code sent to your phone or use an Authenticator app to generate one-time passwords, that's the second factor in action. It could also be a hardware security key, a small USB device you plug into your computer to verify who you are. If someone steals your password, they probably don't have your phone or your security key, so they can't get in. This factor has become especially popular because smartphones are almost always with us, making them convenient and powerful as a security tool. Third is something you are. This is where we get more personal. Biometric authentication uses parts of your body as proof of identity: fingerprints, facial recognition, voice recognition, or even the way you walk or type. These are unique traits that are difficult for someone else to replicate. If you've ever unlocked your phone with your face or used your fingerprint to access an app, you've already used the third factor. It's not just convenient, it's based on the idea that your biology is unique. Each of these factors has its strengths and weaknesses. A password can be stolen, a phone can be lost, biometric data can be spoofed or mishandled. But when used together, when you combine a password with a phone verification or a fingerprint scan, it becomes exponentially more difficult for anyone to impersonate you. That is the power of multifactor authentication. It doesn't rely on one thing. Instead, it asks, can you prove who you are in more than one way? Let's look at a real-life example. Traditionally, when logging into an online app, you just enter your email and password. But with MFA turned on, after entering your password, a notification might pop up on your phone asking if you just tried to log in. Then you tap Approve and access is granted. That quick second step, confirmation on your phone, is a multi-factor authentication. Now think about what happens if someone from another country tries to log in using a stolen password. Without your phone to confirm, they're stopped dead in their tracks. The system might even alert you that someone tried, giving you the opportunity to reset your password or lock down your account before any damage is done. What makes this system so effective is that different factors are independent from the others. Knowing your password doesn't help someone fake your fingerprint. Having your phone doesn't help them guess your security question. It's a multi-part lock where each part must align perfectly to open. That's why it's called multi-factor. It's not just about doing more, it's about doing different things that don't overlap. There's also a psychological shift that happens when people use MFA. They start thinking about their digital identity as something that needs protection. They become more cautious about suspicious emails, more aware of where and how they log in, and more proactive about securing their accounts. It's not just about the tools, it's about changing habits and mindsets. As we move deeper into this topic, keep in mind that MFA isn't about being paranoid. It's about being prepared. The internet isn't safe, and cyber threats aren't some distant concept. They're real, they're active, and they're targeting ordinary people like me and you every single day. But the tools to fight back are already in your hands, literally, in your phone, your fingerprint, and your understanding. Now that we have a basic understanding of multi-factor authentication, let's take a closer look on how it actually works in practice. If you've ever tried logging into an account and received a prompt to verify your identity, then you've experienced one of the many types of MFA. And while the core idea, using more than one factor, remains the same, the way those factors are delivered can vary quite a bit. Let's start with something nearly everyone has encountered: SMS-based verification. This is where you enter your username and password, and a code is texted to your phone. After you enter the code on the screen, you're allowed in. This method became especially popular because it's easy to use and doesn't require installing any new apps. The phone you already have becomes your second layer of protection. As convenient as SMS verification is, it's not foolproof. Threat actors have found a way to intercept text messages through techniques like SIM swapping, a scam where someone tricks your phone provider into transferring your number to a new SIM card they control. Once that happens, the attacker receives all of your text messages, including the security codes. There have been cases in the real world where attackers have used this method to drain people's bank accounts or lock them out of their email. So while SMS MFA is better than no MFA at all, it is no longer considered the most secure option. A more secure and widely recommended approach are Authenticator apps. These are mobile apps like Google Authenticator or Microsoft Authenticator that generate time-based one-time use passwords. After you enter your password, the website asks for a 6-digit code, which you retrieve from the app. That code changes every 30 to 60 seconds, and it only works for your specific account on your specific device. This method has a big advantage over SMS. It doesn't rely on your phone number or your carrier. Even if someone hijacks your phone number, they still won't get into your account without your physical phone and the app installed on it. Plus, because these codes change constantly and are generated locally, there's no text message to intercept. Authenticator apps can feel like a small hassle at first, especially when you're logging into multiple services a day. But they're fast and more secure. Once you get used to them, they quickly become second nature. For most people, they strike a good balance between usability and protection. Now let's talk about something even more seamless, push notifications. If you've ever used services like Duo, Okta, or even Apple ID, you might have already seen this. Instead of entering a code, you get a notification on your phone that says, "Are you trying to log in?" You tap yes, and that's it. You're in. Push-based MFA is popular in businesses and universities because it reduces user error. People don't have to fumble for a code or worry about typing it in before time runs out. But it also introduces something called MFA fatigue attacks. This happens when a threat actor, who has your password, tries to log in over and over and over again, triggering a constant stream of approval requests on your phone. If you're busy or confused, you might eventually tap yes just to make it stop, essentially letting the hacker in. That's why some push-based systems now include context, like showing the login location or device, so you can be sure whether the request is legitimate or not. Another method is biometric authentication. This includes fingerprint scans, facial recognition, or even voice identification. You've probably used biometrics if you've ever unlocked your phone with your thumb or used facial scan to log into an app. Biometrics fall into the something you are category. They have a huge advantage. They're unique to you. No one else has your exact fingerprint or face. Biometric MFA is growing fast, especially in mobile apps and smart devices. It's convenient because it doesn't require memorizing anything or pulling out another device. But it also comes with some serious privacy concerns. If your fingerprint data or your face scan is stolen, you can't change it like a password. That's why it's critical for companies to store biometric data in a secure encrypted format, and why some people still prefer other methods, despite the convenience. Lastly, we have hardware tokens. These are physical devices like a USB stick or a key fob that generate or transmit a unique code when you log in. Some, like YubiKeys, plug directly into your computer and require you to physically touch them to approve a login. Others use wireless communication with your phone or computer. Hardware tokens offer some of the strongest protection available because they're nearly impossible to hack remotely. If an attacker doesn't physically have the token, they're locked out. These are often used in government agencies, large corporations, and industries where data breaches could be catastrophic. For everyday users, hardware tokens are less common, but they're gaining popularity among people who want maximum control over the security of their identity. What's interesting about all these methods is they don't have to work alone. Many systems allow you to choose multiple MFA options. You might use your fingerprint to unlock your phone, then a push notification to approve a login. Or you might keep a hardware key as a backup in case your phone is lost. This layering method isn't just redundancy, it's smart, flexible protection. So whether it's a 6-digit code, a fingerprint scan, or a tap on your screen, multi-factor authentication is all about giving you more control. It turns your digital identity from something fragile into something fortified. And in a world where a single stolen password can lead to chaos, that extra control can make all of the difference. As we've seen, multi-factor authentication has been a huge step forward in keeping our data secure. But the story doesn't end there. Just like technology keeps evolving, so do the methods we use to protect ourselves. In recent years, something interesting has happened. Security experts, software developers, and major tech companies have all started asking a very bold question. What if we don't need passwords at all? To many people, this might sound risky. After all, passwords have been the foundation of digital identity for decades. They feel familiar, even if they're flawed. But for security professionals, passwords are more of a liability than a comfort. They're often reused, easily guessed, or stolen in breaches. And the truth is, they were never designed to be the one thing standing between a threat actor and your bank account, your social media, or your school records. That's why the future of authentication is heading in a completely new direction. One that doesn't just add more layers to a flawed system, but actually replaces the foundation altogether. And at the center of this shift is a technology called passkeys. So, what exactly is a passkey? In simple terms, a passkey is a digital credential that replaces your password. But unlike a password, a passkey is much harder to steal or guess. It's tied to your device, like your phone, laptop, or tablet, and it's often protected by biometrics. When you use a passkey to log in, you're not sending any secrets over the internet. Instead, your device uses a private cryptographic key to prove who you are, without ever revealing that key to the website or service you're trying to access. Think of passkeys like a lock and key system, but where the key never leaves your pocket. The website has a lock, a public key, and your device has the only key that can open it, the private key. When you try to log in, your device proves that it has the right key, but never hands it over. It's fast, secure, and almost impossible for someone to intercept or fake. The beauty of passkeys is that they are phishing resistant. Because there is no password to steal, fake login pages don't work. And since the private key never leaves your device, hackers can't grab it in a data breach. Even if someone has access to your phone number or your email, it won't help them bypass a passkey system. Passkeys are already being rolled out by major tech companies. Apple, Google, and Microsoft are all working together through a group called the PHTO Alliance, which stands for Fast Identity Online. The goal of this alliance is to create open standards to make passwordless login a reality across all systems and platforms. It means that one day soon you might be able to log into your favorite websites and apps without typing anything at all, just by using your Face ID, your fingerprint, or even a quick Bluetooth check from your phone. Let's quickly walk through how that might work. You're trying to sign into your email on your laptop. Instead of entering a password, your browser checks to see if you have a passkey on your phone. Your phone lights up and asks you to confirm your identity with a fingerprint. And once you do, you're logged in. No password, no code, just a seamless, secure handshake between your devices. I know, it sounds futuristic, but it's already happening. Lots of online services have begun offering passkey logins as an option. And early adopters have noticed that not only is it more secure, it's more convenient. No more trying to remember complex combinations or resetting forgotten passwords every few months. Just verify it's really you, and you're in. Of course, like any new technology, passkeys face challenges. One of the biggest is adoption. For passkeys to become widespread, they need to work everywhere. And that means websites and apps have to build in support for them. It also means that users need to trust the system and be willing to make the switch. That transition takes time, and during that period, we are likely to see a mix of old and new methods coexisting. There's also the issue of device loss. What happens if you lose the phone that stores your passkeys? The good news is passkeys can be backed up to the cloud and synchronized across your devices. So now if you're signed into your Apple ID or Google account, your passkeys can follow you to your new device, just like your contacts or photos. And because they're protected by strong encryption and additional authentication, like biometrics, they stay secure even during transfer. Beyond passkeys, there are other innovations bubbling up in the authentication space. Some companies are experimenting with behavioral biometrics, systems that recognize you based on how you type, move your mouse, or hold your phone. Others are exploring continuous authentication, where your identity is verified in the background all of the time, based on patterns of activity. Imagine a future where you don't log in once and stay signed in forever, but instead your system constantly confirmed that it's still you. If your typing rhythm suddenly changes or your GPS says you're in a different country, the system might flag and ask you for re-verification. This kind of real-time identity monitoring could offer even greater security, especially in high-risk environments. While these technologies are still emerging, they all point in the same direction. A world where identity is no longer tied to memorized secrets, but who you are, what you have, and how you behave. It's a future that's not just safer, but also more intuitive. And for a generation that grew up with Face ID and fingerprint scanners, it feels like a natural next step. While multi-factor authentication is here to stay for the foreseeable future, we're already witnessing its evolution. The goal isn't just to pile on more steps, but it's to make the steps smarter, smoother, and stronger. As we look ahead, it's clear that the future of authentication will be just as much about user experience as it is about security. We've covered a lot of ground in this video. We started with a simple idea. Proving who you are online should require more than just a password. And then we expanded into a much larger conversation about digital identity, security, and trust. We explored the core principles of MFA, like how it relies on different kinds of information. Something you know, something you have, and something you are to build stronger protection. And we walked through the many ways MFA works in practice, from SMS codes to Authenticator apps hardware tokens, push notifications, and biometrics. Along the way, we examined both the strengths and weaknesses of MFA. We saw how it could stop attackers cold, but also how those attackers are adapting using tricks like phishing and MFA fatigue to get around it. And we have explored cutting-edge technologies like passkeys and passwordless login, which aim to make identity both stronger and simpler. But at the heart of all of this is a simple truth. You have the power to protect your digital life. Whether you're managing one account or 100, whether you're a student, a teacher, a gamer, or a business owner, the tools are already in your hands. And the decisions you make about how you log in, how you verify your identity, and how you respond to suspicious activity, those decisions matter. Turning on MFA isn't a hassle, it's an act of control. It's you saying, I care about my data, I value my identity, I'm not going to make it easy for someone to steal that from me. It's a small step with a big impact. If there's one thing to take away from this conversation, it's this. Don't wait. Check your accounts. Turn on MFA. Choose the strongest method available, back up your recovery options, and stay alert for the signs that something might be wrong. It's not about being paranoid, it's about being prepared. Thank you for watching. If you found value in this content, please give it a thumbs up. It helps our channel grow and allows more businesses to benefit from these cybersecurity insights. Don't forget to subscribe so you'll never miss out on our latest videos. And remember, if you're looking for personalized cybersecurity support or guidance on any of the topics we cover, Flat Earth Networking is here to help. Visit us at flatearth.net or contact us directly. Links and details are in the description below. So here's to smart security. Here's to knowing the risks, understanding the tools, and choosing to take action. And here's to building a digital future where trust is earned, not assumed, and where logging in means locking down what matters most.